And when you're 10,000 leagues under the sea, you need a good anchor. And let me tell you about our sponsor, Anchor.
What's Anchor?
Anchor is actually the easiest way to make a podcast, Steve. They give you the tools to make your podcast sound great and authentic. They distribute your podcast to Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and many others.
Huh, but is it for free?
It's absolutely free, Squid, and you can make money with hardly any minimal listenership. All you gotta do is go to anchor.fm.com to download the app there.
Attention all Phoenix and Scottsdale residents. Are you thinking about moving? Are you waiting to invest in real estate and start bringing in some passive income? Are you just curious about what's going on in the market? Then it's time to talk to a real estate professional. Make the smart move and call Dugan Grant with Berkshire Hathaway Home Service, 480-506-7890, or Dugan at theCollinerCollective.com.
It is time. Sharks in order. Our shark.
There's a Sharknado coming! Are those sharks with laser beams attached to their heads?
Welcome to the
Sharks!
I was let down by it.
You were let down.
The gore doesn't stand out to me, and it's not even a wacky where I can see like it's torture porn. It's more in that it's just like too many cooks. The Christian radicals happy, even though some of them thought it was too violent. You try to make Gibson stroke his genius, and then you're seeing Jim Caviezel take it too serious as a dramatic piece. And then you're seeing all these other visual effects where you're just like, yeah, no, why don't you just go back to the Last Temptation book? You know?
Interesting. See, my whole spiel about it is what I thought was really funny about it is I said it's all beating Christ, no passion. The title is literally not true because there's nothing in it that is really about Jesus's teachings. And I even put the clip in there from George Carlin when he's like, Christ didn't come here to give us the willies. He came to help us out.
Right.
It's the truth. There was nothing in the movie that was relevant to, how radical his views were. It was all just about all beating Jesus. That's all it was. It was all beat, no passion.
A rare example of people are just, I don't think I've seen it really all that re-aired even all that much. Like maybe an occasional movie channel re-airing, but it's rare. Like you'll see a lot of people who kind of just know more about the notoriety outside of it versus people actually seen it. It's a Brokeback Mountain deal.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen both, my audience. I've seen Brokeback Mountain and I've seen Passion of the Christ. I have sat through both. So say what you will.
Say what you will.
Let me talk about the comparisons. I'm just kidding. No, but for the most part,
there should have been some gay people in Passion of the Christ. That would have been amazing. But it's just funny though too how like 2004 was just a crazy year. Just too many. I think that was before people said "fuck you" to Rotten Tomatoes. I think that was It wasn't a great year, that in 99. Just too many just inconsistent in quality kind of movies and then cult films. And it was just kind of funny because that's where people were learning how alternate ways to market movies and everything. And it was... I don't think you couldn't air it on a regular network TV without being accused of, you're altering the religious story in some way. I
also think, and I stood by this on my podcast. So, and I know you didn't hear it, but I actually took a broad stand here, and I said I actually find the film anti-Semitic, and it's not because it's because one, we know the man behind the film now, and I don't think Mel Gibson's a stupid man. I think he does his research. But the thing that it's the same thing in Apocalypto, where he talked about the Maya having smallpox before the Europeans ever got there. Do I think Mel Gibson made that mistake on purpose? I think he did as a wink and a nod.
He's kind of a conspiracy theorist, I think.
That's what I'm saying. So now that we know the guy behind it, and it also goes to this, and I'm sure you know this, Cam, with your knowledge of script format, the kill the dog scenario where you have a hero kill the dog, you have a hero save the dog,
save
people
the
like them.
Cat. say, yeah.
It's the
Saving
same thing
Private.
with the Jews in this movie. I mean, you really had some emphasis of the Jews being like, "Oh, kill Jesus." I mean, you had the slow motion of just them enjoying it, and it's
Right.
like you don't have to put that much emphasis
I feel
on
like
these
he
people.
was recruiting an actor also, you know. Jim Caviezel, you've heard stories about him, how he
Yeah,
yells "Hail
we talked
Hitler"
about
on
that.
set. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's such a shame because you're like, man, Person of Interest, what a kick-ass, mind-blowing show, and then you're just like, this dude, he has the look of a movie star. Why is he? It's the same thing with Tom Cruise and all these other guys. It's like the more you know about him, the more you realize, yeah, just don't.
Right. And again, I subscribe to the whole "you can hate the man, but and the characters he portrays, that's fine." But
Right.
I'm just saying, in the essence of script, story structure, and what I think he was ultimately trying to convey to audiences, I hate to say it, it comes off as anti-Semitic to me. It comes off as these guys wanted to really kill Jesus, you know. And it's only a certain sect that was basically almost like a crime family in Jerusalem that really does not put any kind of anecdotal evidence on anything of the whole Jewish community. You know what I'm saying?
No.
It doesn't represent anything.
It
part
doesn't
of
give them a voice either, so it's already biased. But it is interesting how it couldn't be done today. I don't even think, because
We talked about that.
you
Yeah.
do an R-rated religious epic. Well, no one's going to see it. You know, you see Pure Flix and Lionsgate releasing all these movies, but they're sneaking around. They're making sure they're PG or PG-13 so they can slip
This
in.
movie killed people, Cam. It gave
Right?
a woman a heart attack, and I looked it up, and it was 100% true.
I think I did hear about that in like a Cracked article. Is like someone fucking died.
She died during one of the climactic parts of the film. She's like,
kind of like people would erp at Paranormal Activity or think Blair Witch was real.
I think Paranormal Activity is one of the greatest success stories of all time. One of the most low-budgeted films that had such a good return. Like Fritz the Cat, I think
People
Rob
actually-
only made that for like $6,000, and he got back like $1 million off of it.
Right. People actually research movies like 8 millimeters. Does someone actually die in this movie? I'm like, no. It's just-
No, you
They're
got
just doing-
to go deeper than that.
Yeah. Deeper. No pun intended.
We'll be right back with more of the Real Sharks podcast.
Welcome everyone to the Real Sharks podcast, and believe me, this is an awesome full episode. We got Donna, we got Steve, we got Luke, and joining the panel finally from Jacked Up Movie Review, my man Cammy from out in Texas.
Oh, you had to call me by the name every Latino kid in Spanish talking.
I know he hates this, so that's what I call him.
Damn it. Oh, thank you. Glad to be here.
Good
Thank you
evening,
much.
everyone. Thank you for joining us on all our fabulous podcast platforms. We thank everyone. So thank you again. So let's go ahead and get started with today's show, guys. Let's go ahead and get started with the movie news that I had.
There's news.
All right.
Oh my
There is
God.
news. So did you guys hear Avatar 2 is about ready to join some of the top films in pursuit of the box office goal, including Avengers Endgame? I mean, it's
Is
getting up
it?
there.
Did it actually make more than the original movie? That's what I want.
Probably.
It's getting past there. It's getting past there.
Wow.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Makes sense, but you know what?
How much of it is the filmmakers seeing it multiple times in one day?
Yeah, right.
See, that's it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It was
'Cause
destined.
I hate to say it,
It's
guys.
the same thing
I
with
saw
TV
it.
ratings. Whoever works on this show tunes in. Why aren't you watching it? Because
I hate to say it, guys. I saw it, and I think most of us saw it here. I think it sucked.
Hey, actually, here's what I'll say. I thought overall it was better than the first Avatar, but it was still
Okay. I will give you
Which
that, Luke,
almost
on
is
this
the
note
same
because
thing.
it had an original story, kinda.
I thought the
Kinda
story,
build
yeah,
up
the story was better. Like there were the elements of it were a little bit more. The focus on the family felt a little bit better because it's like, okay, that's a little bit more. That's a little bit more meaty. That's a little bit more interesting than just than just Jake Sully. This Play-Doh of a man. This absolute just blank piece of paper becomes a Smurf. Like
Jack
that,
Blank.
this was much more interesting.
Right?
And yeah, and the thing is, I love the ocean. I love water creatures, and I love the alien water creatures.
But that's what James Cameron was doing.
Yeah, I'll admit, like it looked nice. Like the ocean creatures were cool.
Did you guys see the
man,
article?
They had the breath for 5 minutes there.
Did you guys see the article with co-star Eddie Falco? I don't know who she plays.
It was still pretty boring. It was still a pretty bland, pointless movie.
I just got fun that she got interviewed, and they're like, "What do you think about your newest movie?" She's like, "What newest movie?" Avatar 2.
Avatar.
And she's like, "Just came out this year."
Right.
Quizzing the actor on their own movie.
In like 2019, 2017 or something like that before reshoots, and it's just so funny. It's like some
she doesn't even. Yeah, it's not even on her fucking radar.
They don't keep up. It's like, you should ask your agent about your IMDb.
It's generated 1.928 billion so far globally. It's overtaken Spider-Man: No Way Home. That's what it's overtaken, at 1.91 billion. So it's the 6th highest grossing release in the box office history. Okay. I still, as a host,
but this is so
by
diabolical. Because don't you know? I mean, either way, all this money goes to Disney.
Right.
It's through Fox, but either way they win. If it's
Disney
a Marvel
is competing with itself right now.
If it's a Star Wars money, So the only way, I'm just wondering though, can anyone actually buy Disney? Because I know they can't do another buyout anytime soon. Can anyone else buy Disney?
I don't think anybody will buy. No. I mean, who?
Google.
No.
Microsoft. Apple.
It doesn't necessarily make sense for that. This isn't a business. This isn't a business podcast. But like, there's no reason for Google to like wade into film industry for money.
Sure it does. Extra money on the side.
Well, no, because they don't know how to run it though, and so it would be like
that's not stopping Amazon.
But that's a good idea. That's a good idea because then we can
Amazon branched out into their own thing. That's something they own wholly. They didn't, they're putting money into it.
I'm with you, Luke. It's unlikely, but this is good for us because then Google will collapse and the internet will be free.
That'll just be Bob.
I root for that.
The internet will never be collapse. Free. We will never be free.
We'll never be free, but I mean, imagine how many more politicians we could expose. And
Oh, the government would probably collapse.
So what you guys are basically saying is Disney is the key to freeing the internet by getting
exactly.
They are the Neo of the internet that's going to save us all by
going with my
yeah.
Thank you.
Each Disney Plus.
I don't really think exposing even means anything anymore. Like we have guys who like.
Well, I don't want to expose. I want to collapse.
Accusations with them in Congress, and they're just like whatever.
Yeah.
Just another.
We had that guy George Santos. He literally lied about everything in his entire life.
And don't get me started.
Yeah.
He stole money from a veteran sick dog, and he might have actually been a drag queen before he became a Republican. And like, he's just gonna and he's not gonna do anything. He is not like flinching. He's like,
he's just guffawing that people actually took the bait, even though the signs were all there. He gave half-assed answers, and he still won. Yeah. It's like, what the hell?
Exposing means nothing. They don't care. They'll be like, sure, whatever. They just
I'm not trying to expose. I'm trying to collapse. I'm trying to burn this bitch down. Burn this house down.
I forget with that. Yeah.
So, Donna, what did you think of Avatar 2?
Sorry to derail.
Right. No, you're good. I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it? What did you think of the first Avatar?
I liked the first one. It was different.
It was different, huh?
It was different. It was a love story without being a love story.
How graphic it gets for PG-13. Just tell me.
Did you guys feel that the second one was sort of like a tech demo for what films are going to be in the future sometimes?
Oh, totally.
Like holding on shots so long It's like, yeah, I see it. That's nice.
I'm still having to explain to people motion capture and how it's used in anything from an episode of The Mandalorian to Call of Duty Battlefield type video games. And they're, because they'll always go, why does it look like the voice actor? I'm like, because they're actually on set.
Right.
Even freaking Vin Diesel is on set.
The tech's come a long way from that creepy stuff that Zemeckis was doing with Polar Express.
Speaking of creepy stuff, guys, did you guys hear about John Hurd was talking about how he thinks Napoleon Dynamite, it's an inevitable sequel, but he wants to make it more of a continuous dark movie?
He's scheduled either this month or next. I'm not sure when this is airing in Dallas to do a Q&A at the Texas Theater for a screening of that fucking movie. So I think he's desperate. I think he's hustling. He wants to get another hit out before he.
You mean John Heder, the actor, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything since.
Right. So his
even a cartoon of it. Yeah.
His pitch is to do a darker comedy now of Napoleon Dynamite. My question is as funny as Napoleon Dynamite was, and it was kind of a beloved kind of movie, you know. You could even say like it's John Heder's one-hit wonder. I guess you could even say.
So what Rob is asking is
the idea of making it dark, though, is that necessary?
So what Rob wants is either a PG-13 version of what Rob wants is either a PG-13 version of Heathers or an R-rated Winnie the Pooh.
Okay, R-rated.
Oh wait, you already got that. Oh,
yeah. I don't think there's any scenario where you make a dark Napoleon Dynamite movie where he doesn't turn into a mass shooter. Like I don't see how you create like.
I was gonna say it would have to be a mass shooter, serial killer.
Coming to Funny or Die with Will Ferrell.
Antisocial, rural, weird outcast. Like by this point, he probably in his 30s, still living with his aunt and his brother.
And the way
this is so far the real plot.
Exactly.
The way he justifies it is he has the teacher be played by the most annoying actor on the planet or something like that.
Yeah.
Stop!
Honestly, though, I mean, I see this trend happening a lot, though, in films nowadays. You take something that's very beloved and you make it dark, like Winnie the Pooh, or Superman, Pinocchio. Actually, that Pinocchio, though, that Guillermo del Toro, that Luke was talking about, I actually caught a little bit of that. That's fucking genius.
Great.
I have to say, it was pretty fucking genius. And I'm sorry, I'm going to cuss here, but it was.
Bill Cosby playing a nice guy, that's a twist. Oh! Fooled everybody.
He's out of jail. He could do another movie.
Oh, God.
Can you imagine?
Yes, I can. Jeremy Piven got canceled, and he's still doing stand-up, and you're like,
imagine if he does it. Yeah, can you imagine if he pulls it off, tries to do like a stand-up show?
I mean, and who's going to be at the stand-up with him? Mel Gibson?
All the chloroform victims?
I would be.
Yeah, there you go, Weinstein. Yeah.
I would be so ashamed to go to see that show, but I'd want to see it just to see.
Oh my God!
Just to see the train wreck.
I couldn't live with myself.
Yeah.
You're only allowed to go if you sign up for the police task force that goes and arrests them at the show.
Yeah, right.
You can go to the show if you register yourself.
I'm gonna go outside.
Yourself.
Yeah. Take out your phone for this, guys.
All right, so I got a new segment here that I'm going to capitalize on before Vice does, and this is going to be called The Dark Side of Filmmaking.
We'll be right back with more of the Real Sharks podcast.
That's why Hollywood's backwards.
Yes, exactly. So during the atomic age, there was still a lot of development research into what radiation and nuclear weapons can do. They used to do crazy such things in Las Vegas as have people stand outside and watch nuclear tests at hotels. This was the same thing in Hollywood. They didn't know, they had a lot of ignorance towards radiation.
Safety, what's that?
Yeah, safety. Animal cruelty, what's that? But we have a famous actor by the name of John Wayne. I'm sure a lot of people have possibly heard of him.
Dude. Yeah, that guy.
One of the most greatest actors, beloved actors in Hollywood.
Well, greatest with an asterisk.
Right. However,
I
though,
like some of his movies. That dude
during the 1950s movie The Conqueror, which ironically had John Wayne portray Genghis Khan, was filmed a few miles north of St. George, Utah, in Snow Canyon.
Utah totally looks like whatever he was conquering.
This dust was allegedly full of radiation poison. And the horses kicked up during all the filming, all the dust, and most of the cast, including John Wayne himself,
all died
of lung cancer.
Lung cancer, yep.
Was it 20 years later or 40 years later? I can't remember.
I believe it was 40 years later. But John Wayne actually revisited the site himself with a...
oh, that's why.
with a writer, and they actually held a Geiger counter to the set, and it actually was buzzing off. And John Wayne actually believed that this set was the one that actually killed him.
I believe it.
I believe it, yep.
A similar practice on the 70s rotoscoped Lord of the Rings movie by Ralph Bakshi, the same kind of deal. Whatever the paint that was used on all the actors and the stuntmen, they all died of cancer like a few years later. So I do
Donna,
believe it.
I believe you were going to talk about once on, remember the set of The Wizard of Oz, the
yes.
Witch.
The witch got severe
I think it was
burns.
the same kind of paint. I think.
And then the Tin Man was not originally supposed to be played by the man that played the Tin Man. It was somebody else, and I can't remember his name.
Yeah, it was like 3 different actors, and they all died.
Yeah, because of the paint. It was leaking into their skin, the lead paint, and it made them super sick. But like Hollywood was like, "Oh, you're hurt. Who cares? Come back to work."
You're being a diva. You're being
like the witch.
No.
It's like I'm dying, actually.
Yeah, she had burnt her hands in one of the scenes where
maybe that's why. So
and
that makes you wonder. Maybe that's why TNT TBS has it on every other Christmas. They're like, we want to officially pay off the victim's family.
Yeah, this is gonna take a while.
It will drive you crazy. Kids will watch it and they don't even care about it, but they're just watching it because it's on.
Hey,
it's interesting
I
though,
love that
because
movie.
I do too. I'm just saying, is just nowadays we got so many snobs who don't watch older movies unless it's something universal, on the top 250 list.
I actually never seen this film either, The Conqueror, until I actually seen this article about it. No, well, yeah, because I saw John Wayne's Genghis Khan. I mean, come on, I seen some snippets of it, and I was like, wow.
I love the movie where John Wayne gets shot.
There's
I love the
only
movie
8
where
movies with him where he actually dies.
Right.
Out of like hundreds of movies.
And I just love how he'll also just pose with people. Like the dude was the king of just smack talk. Like he'd be like, "I fucking hate High Noon," and it's like he hated it not because he made it political, but really he hated it just because he was like in the running to like be the lead and he didn't get it. It was like, I see.
Well, if we're talking about John Wayne as a person, he did a lot of shady things. Green Berets is a movie, not one that inspired a lot of the drill sergeants in Vietnam, but also it was a propaganda film to get people to join the war.
It's very watchable, but if you want to take back the action, you're like, oh my God, it is such a fun movie.
And it wasn't just John Wayne. Have you ever noticed when the U.S. gets close to a war, they always release some type of military movie to get people to go enlist?
Oh, yeah.
Guns and all of that.
Yeah. Propaganda can be entertaining, even though when you peel it away, you're like, it's still fucking.
It's been a little different when, at least what I remember, with the beginning of the Iraq War. I don't feel that there were.
Oh, there were. There totally were.
There were some films.
Yeah, there was a lot.
There were people who wouldn't even watch them, and everyone was like, "Why did they do so bad?" I'm like, "Because we don't want to think about this."
There was a lot more films after Osama bin Laden was killed, though, like Zero Dark 30. There was a lot of films that talked about that whole event, too.
And
think
Chuck
like,
Farrar
loosely
interviewed
based
some.
off of events.
Honestly, a lot of that I think
Assassination.
got like a lot of that got pawned off on like Hollywood block. Like, I think like a lot of the oorah stuff got passed over to the Transformers movie because every Transformers movie, the Transformers were with the military. Like the military was always like,
that's true.
Yeah.
We're always on the side of the Optimus.
That or just even SWAT team kind of movies or shows. Yeah,
even Marvel, even with Iron Man, he was like on the side of the.
I didn't like it in the theater. I saw why is every villain a Muslim and the bad guy gets away? Yeah, it was like
right
or smoking. Every villain has to smoke too.
Smoke. Yeah, you gotta have some like Russian accent, Ukrainian thing.
Yeah, or foreigner.
Ben Kingsley, let him play a Mandarin.
Right.
An actor playing. Yeah. There's so much utter whitewashing, utter bullshit. Where you're like, anyone remember that awful Peter Pan movie they made back in 2015?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my god.
It had Hugh Jackman.
I do remember that movie.
And it was just so funny. Everyone was just like, it was already canceled because of just the whitewashing. But then it's just like, you're watching it and you're like, who thought this was good? Oh, no one thought this was good. No one talks about this movie.
When it comes to safety, though, I mean, back to what we were talking about. I know we got a little off topic
like,
there,
and it's still happening. Like
still happening. But you know how much? But do you guys think that's Do you think that was just a victim of the time, or do you think literally they just didn't do enough fucking research to be like, hey, you know, let's not go out there.
They didn't know anything.
No, there was.
They didn't want to do anything better either. It was like we were already backwards as it was. Everything from hey, everybody should eat cereal all day. Hey, everyone should run, you know, without warming up. Utter bullshit, So
duck and cover.
Yeah, and Rob,
whites are superior race.
Cited for the Rob, the article you cited for this. It kind of brought up what was at the time or what was ongoing an actual activist movement for what was called the Downwinders. Whole communities in the Southwest who who were basically not told any of this, that they were doing any of the testing, and just nuclear radiation just drifted into their towns. We're talking, like obviously these were small towns, but these were like hundreds, maybe thousands of people
years before they evacuated.
Yep, and so they just dealt with radiation, and by
if they did know, they probably killed them.
And by the time any sort of media could be brought up before, there was any sense of momentum to get justice for these people, most of them were already dead.
Exactly.
Or
baby.
They were in the movie The Hills Have Eyes.
Or they were in the movies The Hills Have Eyes.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my goodness.
I thought you liked that one better, Cam.
That and the freaking... you guys have seen that. Has anyone seen that Clint Eastwood, Angelina Jolie movie, Changeling?
I think I have it.
That deals with a lot of the behind the scenes, just conspiracy cover-ups, water poisoning. So it's like, it just wait them out, and oldest trick in the book.
Wait them out.
Wait them out until they run out of money, or they die, or or you threaten a reporter's career, and it's just like Jesus.
Put them on a radioactive set.
Radioactive set, and
but it is interesting though.
To your earlier thing, look at all the clickbait. None of it surrounding Netflix, the Addams Family reboot, Wednesday.
Oh God, we talked about that.
Like, I would see all that clickbait, but once again, no one wanted to know the truth, which was, we're pressed for time, we can't reshoot this, so we're gonna risk everybody's life by having the actress who has COVID, film the scene anyway. And so people are all going to this, fuck the director, fuck the actress. It's like, well, this is all bad. Or this is a systematic issue. What should really happen is someone from SAG should have closed down this, whole movie set and said,
if they'd known, but now we know.
Yeah.
Now they know.
People are being shady. So...
it still happens though. The most recent one we could see, like we know of, that's probably the mainstream one we've seen in a while, is the Alec Baldwin situation of on sets, and there's just gonna be
a repeat of The Crow, some years ago, and what it almost seems like.
You know, Alec Baldwin meant to do it. He knows.
Oh, no.
That broad was mouthing off. You read his book. You don't.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what you did.
You know what you did. But no,
I don't think Alec
Alec
really
Baldwin has never
I know
done
you've
thing
been
in his life. No.
I'm sure he did want to take out a gun at some point, but it wasn't that day.
Damn.
He should make
Okay.
now Glengarry Glen Ross 2, Wall Street 3. I don't know.
Okay,
Put that
here.
gun down.
Let's
so
move
bad.
into the review of the night here,
The
which
review.
is
We're
The Last
reviewing.
of Us. We're going to review The Last of Us. So episode 1, guys. No spoilers. No spoilers here for Cam. No spoilers for Cam.
I'm a bastard. I need to.
No, it's okay.
this-
We're gonna spoil it for him because he's too
I'm a
spoiled.
bastard. It might make me actually get to it sooner.
He's the
So-
guest. That's why.
I'm gonna actually go
Oh.
on. I've never played the game, so I'm
Video
just
game,
gonna go
what's
off
that?
a person. Yeah, I'm just gonna go off a person that just seen the show.
So it has zombies, but that's what he was teasing me. I'm like, what? I thought
Yeah,
it was an Indiana Jones.
I was
Tomb Raider.
telling. Yeah,
But they're weird looking zombies.
But Cam,
Yeah,
this is what
yeah,
Cam, state what you thought it was at first.
Just the Indiana Jones Tomb Raider deal, right?
Right, and I said at first, it was
But
a
it
lot
has
like
zombies?
kinda. They're more like fungus zombies.
Yeah, they're like monsters more so.
yeah.
They're people that are infected with the fungi type. The same thing that gets in the ants, that makes the ants crawl around like puppets. It's basically the same shit. It's
Not
only
like
it
the
affects
Borg on
humans.
Star Trek.
No,
No.
Either.
I thought again, guys, and I'm being really honest here, coming from a guy who's pretty much seen almost every zombie film on the planet.
You have not.
I have.
Have you?
I've seen Dead Girl. Have you seen that? If you haven't seen that, you need to watch that.
Wait.
Exactly. I see your face.
Dead Girl.
Yes, Dead Girl. Anyway,
I know the Toni Collette
What are you
movie.
gonna say, Rob?
What's up?
What were you gonna say, Rob?
Oh, sorry. So when it comes to The Last of Us, I thought the beginning half was really good. It was a lot like Dawn of the Dead. But then the second half was a lot like Land of the Dead. And that was kind of disappointing for me. Now, I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying it was okay, because the first half is the typical action. Holy shit, what's going on? We're in the fucking chaos here. And then and I was like, cool, awesome. This is cool. I like this kind of stuff. I like the intro to Dawn of the Dead. But then once it got past, where unfortunately spoilers gets shot, then we entered this like Land of the Dead, where there's basically hell within the society they're living in. And then it was like more about like the rebellion against these people that are holding a tyrannical government over them, military government, yada yada. To me, it was just typical. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it was okay.
Rob thinks it sucks. He just can't professionally say.
Yeah, he's trying to be nice.
No, I liked it.
I don't hate it yet.
I liked it for a very similar reason to you, Rob. Is that I also have a lot of zombie fatigue.
I see what you did there, Rob Zombie.
Exactly. So for a little bit. So having a show actually kind of approach it in what feels fresh, even though it's very, very similar, well-trodden territory, they do it really well. Everything is shot well acted. Pedro Pascal is my bro. He is Bay.
He's the man.
He is the man. I want to be him. I want to be inside him. I want him to be inside.
And that's it.
Right here.
Luke just came out.
Yeah, and I'm very, very excited. I am familiar with the game. I never finished it. But yeah, I'm excited. This looks like this is going to be a good series. Just top quality stuff, like good intro, good acting, good set pieces. And I think and it came along at a really good pace. I was worried because the relationship between Ellie and Joel is the core of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, at what point are we going to get to deal with those two? They jumped in. Thankfully, we did it at the beginning of them just heading out, which is the core of the adventure as well. So I'm interested to see where it goes. Because obviously in the game, you just kind of focus on the characters you play. So there might be places to kind of edge out and see what other characters are doing while Joel and Ellie are doing their thing. Not as much as what they fucking did with the second season of The Witcher, which was embarrassing and bad. It made me upset. But we can spread out a little bit. Like we can jump back to other characters at other points, kind of see and flesh out the world that we only got a hint of in the game.
Steve?
I agree. I think, I did play the game, and I could just say right now they did the safest bet. I'll say that without spoiling, to make everybody
spoiled
happy.
it. No, I'm just kidding.
Whether you played the game or you're taking it, from the first view, they kind of did everything pretty well. I feel like there is still stuff. It's like you're just looking at what's going on. I like Pedro Pascal as the character Joel.
Do you?
Yeah, and I feel
I'm
like
kidding.
again, there's a lot of
funning you.
things that are going on that there's a lot of setup. This is a very, very expensive show. You could already see that.
Yeah.
in the last shot
I
of the
couldn't tell.
episode. Yeah, it's pretty dang. Like they're doing things that other people have failed on.
You're
like
telling me it has a bigger budget than Corona Zombies by Full Moon.
Right? Yeah, or Z Zombies. That was a blockbuster.
Oh, what about Hard Rock Zombies?
Hard Rock Zombies, Jesus.
That movie is a masterpiece.
Have you ever seen
played the
Return of the
soundtrack.
Night of the Living Dead, Rave to the Grave?
Rave to the Grave. I've never seen that.
Wait.
Where they take Z and they turn into zombies? X to Z?
Oh my God. That
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Classic films this is up against.
Yeah, but this is I think this is going to, it's because I don't think it's going to focus too much more on the zombies. It's the impending doom that's already there, but people are dealing with
problem
it.
with
Like,
these
but you
shows,
see,
though.
but you
It's like
see,
too much like
people
Walking
are-
Dead. Then
you already see people dealing with it. Like, all right, it's been 20 years, it said. So
Yeah.
there's not a lot that you can do. Like, what are you going to do in 20 years after you know that a zombie apocalypse has happened? You know what I mean? Like, humanity has established some sort of society and has dealt with it. And it's not more so about the monsters per se, but it's about the monsters of probably the human beings we're probably going to see. And this relationship with this child that is
who's
probably,
immune?
and yeah, I know. There's a lot of
spoilers. Who didn't see that coming? Sorry.
But that's what I'm saying. I feel like they're trying to get to the thing that people want to see. So they're like, in the first episode, let's hurry this up, get to where people want to do thing. Let's get to the actual character building. So I'm interested. They're not trying to step in the same mistakes as like other video game adaptations. The Witcher, Luke mentioned. I know I didn't see it, but the Halo, they made the Halo show, that also was like atrocious.
No, that was excellent. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so again, like video game adaptations, they're everywhere, so it's really, really hard.
50-50 usually.
Yeah, or like I would
They're
say
getting better though. They're getting better over the
Halo
years.
it's
They
like
are.
80-20.
They
I
are.
can't wait.
The Resident Evil one we reviewed is now is trash. So there's just a lot.
First one's good. The rest of them, they go in order.
What about the Netflix show though?
Oh yeah, the Netflix show was horrific.
That was really
I'm
bad.
sure.
Yeah,
it's
I can't
Netflix.
even watch that one.
See that it's like
Netflix. What do
don't
you
want to
expect?
see it. And that also had to deal with actual real zombies, that show. And you
Right.
barely saw any zombies in a Resident Evil show. So
Nothing
I
better
think
than
this is
taking
good.
advantage of people.
Donna, what did you think of Last of Us?
I actually liked it. Never played the video game, but I have a feeling it's going to go towards like another zombie TV show, and it's on Netflix. And I was trying to figure the name of it, and I can't remember it. But it
Black
has-
Zombie Nation?
Black
Summer?
Black Summer. Black Summer, yeah.
No, Zombie Nation, because the purple dude was
Z-Nation?
mute the
Which one?
bites.
Oh
Z
God,
Nation is
Z Nation,
There's
Jesus.
so many.
I know.
The
It's what it
Asylum show.
makes me feel like the chick's immune to it or whatever. The purple guy was immune to it.
Well,
Maybe they'll
hopefully
not go towards
Yeah.
that, because I still can't even finish that show.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
bad. By the creators
Actually,
of Sharknado.
The most immediate, it's not a TV show, but my immediate what's the word? My immediate like 1-to-1 for me is Children of Men, because
Ooh, great movie.
it's about like a singular person who is a sort of a beacon of hope.
Hope, yeah.
And the story, at least, is what we're looking at. It's basically a whole society that is just like slowly like succumbing, not necessarily to the outward factors, but to themselves by the actual lack of hope.
Nah, let's go for
That's
Night
what
of
it-
Legend.
that's what it's kind of.
Let's go, bro. I was just gonna
I
say
cannot
that.
stand Children of Men. Oh my
Really, you didn't like Children of Men?
Wow, really?
Well shot, overrated.
See, I disagree with you on that one.
I don't remember a single character.
I saw it last in high school. Obviously, high school brain. Something
I think it's an underrated film just because I think it's not very seen very well.
I have seen it at different stages in my life, my dude. It's just like the Constant Gardener, where you're just like critics, man, taking it to the bank.
I get you on that one.
I'm sorry, I am a contrarian. I do not. Just you can tell me. Name me a movie that has 90% on Rotten Tomatoes that you actually agree with.
Detective Pikachu.
Right, no, I agree with you. What I was going to say, though, is that ploy, though, of the immunity
Sonic the Hedgehog 2. That's a
what I'm
game
saying is
adaptation,
critics
too.
are zombies, and they infest us.
Right.
Critics are zombies. They do take it in. You must
We'll be right back with more of the Real Sharks podcast.
Like that's, in my personal opinion, knowing a lot of zombie films, that's kind of played out on the immunity aspect of, someone's immune. Of course, it's that beacon of hope. As Cam was saying, Children of Men, in my personal opinion, is good. However, though, that story is played out where there is that one person that is the beacon of hope, whatever aspect it is.
Van Helsing. That's another one, Van Helsing.
Whatever it is.
They do that.
It's always the same kind of ploy.
The Book of Eli. He was blind the whole time.
That movie.
He was your savior.
That movie's trash. I'm sorry, Denzel.
I want to love it, but
you can't.
I can't, and I had so many religious guys who were just in love with him. Like,
it's like Yellowstone. So many conservatives love that fucking movie. It's like their only Denzel Washington movie they ever like.
Denzel's kind of in his Liam Neeson Taken period. He's a lot of like.
Oh, he was Neeson.
He's got a lot of action movies for 40-year-old guys.
I love the
like Equalizer and Two Guns. It's like that's his.
Yeah, but
Pedro Pascal, man, who could imagine he came from having his head crushed.
Yeah.
In Game of Thrones. To be in The Mandalorian.
He's in a memorable SVU episode where he gets massacred at a shootout, and it's Stabler's final episode. A lot of people saw that one.
Really?
He's in Narcos. He was in Narcos.
Spoilers.
He's come a long way.
He was in.
Spoiler for that episode.
He was in The Equalizer 2. He's getting killed.
Yeah.
And so is the young girl in this who plays Ellie. She's the what was she?
She's been in a lot of stuff.
Her mom, she gets crushed as well in Game of Thrones. So the two people that had brutal deaths.
So this is just it. It's an apology by HBO. We're sorry you got killed.
We're sorry. We're sorry.
Yeah.
Here's this show.
So thank you for telling me about that for Game of Thrones because I just now started that series.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
You should have known. You should always read the book at the time.
It's the Sopranos
but I'm saying sorry ahead of time because
I was never surprised Pedro Pascal was going to be big though, and I think kind of Steve, reading the books from Game of Thrones would kind of agree with me. I mean, Oberyn Martell is a badass character. They didn't show him as much as what he does in the show as he is in the books, but he's a badass character in general. And anyone they were going to pick to play him, I mean, he was going to be a fan favorite, but they happened to get this guy who's amazing.
He's charismatic. He's very charismatic, and he's a very serious visual actor. This Pedro Pascal.
Yep.
You could see the pain on his face. You can see the emotions. I think that's why he plays a great Mandalorian. Everyone loves him as Mandalorian, even with the mask on.
I can't see his fucking face.
Yeah, I can't see his face, but but you still identify
that voice.
Yeah, the voice
that stark monotone voice he's got, man.
Another show that when I see Last of Us, I think about because it's The Mandalorian. It's a show about he's a rugged badass in this sort of very broken society. He finds a magic child. He has a magic child. There is a formula. There is a formula that Last of Us understands. That's what they're.
There you go.
What do you guys think the future of this show is? Do you guys see it stretching beyond the game, or do you guys think it's going to just go up to the game?
I don't know.
I just want it to not suck.
Yeah,
I'm gonna agree with Cam.
Yeah, me too. I think
don't
just
waste
focus
time
on
bullshit that doesn't mean anything. So don't have all this cinematic sex scenes. Don't have any of this random just villains played by an over the top Emmy-winning actor. Just do a damn good show that people tune in every day and say that's suspenseful.
It's
Sticking to the
possible
original content.
Yeah, it's possible this season is just going to be this whole season covers the game. I'm not 100% sure because I don't know what their plans are with this series. I'm assuming
there's another one, right? There's another game.
There's Last
came
of
out.
Us 2.
Yeah,
Last of Us 2 was was a bit controversial. I tend to disagree based off what I've heard, but
wait,
I need to play it myself. But I think there's room to grow. If anything, I think like the world they've built is something that you can kind of build off. You could probably get about 3 seasons worth. I don't think you can go any further with that before it starts to drag and get.
I don't know. There is Walking Dead, man.
Walking Dead.
Oh God.
Jeez.
Walking Dead.
I can't wait for you to do our special on that where we're just talking shit about zombie shows.
Yeah, Walking Dead.
That could be a special.
Do it.
Walking Dead was mixed results like from day one. I'm sorry. It was.
People were like, it's so great. And then they're rewatching it. They're like, the CGI was so bad. I'm like, it was already bad at the time.
It was bad from the beginning.
It just played out. It just
I disagree with all of you. Walking Dead was fucking great when it first came out.
When it first came out, but now you watch it now.
Go ahead. I'll let you guys all have your say, and
I would rewatch season 1 episodes. And
no, go ahead. No, I have my reasons why I'll say it's good.
My deal is that like the whole show was like just a very corny action show that had learned enough prestige television techniques to trick people into thinking they were watching a good show. Like
most of them hadn't even seen a zombie movie.
Breaking Bad, how to make prestige trap. Like it was a smoke screen.
When I knew people in high school and college, all they had fucking seen around that same damn time was stuff like World War Z, 28 Days Later.
Right.
They hadn't seen Dawn of the Dead unless it was the remake, or even Warning Sign, or any other just 60s, 70s, 80s movie. It's just like, okay, so your parents didn't raise you right. Crazy uncle didn't go to his house and watch some cult movies because.
Okay. Anybody else?
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think Cam.
I'm gonna let you finish.
There's just a lot. The Walking Dead was just one of those shows that, yeah, man, I felt like they were gonna go with it regardless of character development or anything like that, because they went 2 or 3 seasons that was kind of loosely based off the comic, and then they just.
And that's what pissed me off even more. That Hack decided, hey, I can do better job than you. I hate you.
Yeah, and then after that just gave them the free range to just do whatever they felt like, put whatever character in. And it's like, when you start seeing people look like they're taking baths in the post-apocalyptic world, it's like...
You're not wrong. I know extras who play zombies, and literally that's all they would literally be doing, just being killed. Waiting for cameras to set up.
Waiting for it to happen. It's not really going to be...
I knew Craig Lindbergh, who's doing some makeup for their spin-offs right now, and half the time he won't even watch his work. He's like, I know they're going to just over-edit it with CGI. Half my shit I'm doing.
So, I have to say, I think... Okay, so you guys have all have your say, right? I'm going to tell you why I thought... I'm going to say why I thought the first season of Walking Dead was good. The first 2 seasons I thought was really good. There's some seasons that I have skipped. I liked the Governor episode. I thought that was good. But for a show for a comic series that had only 193 issues, I have to say there's something to what Walking Dead has accomplished. I mean, even though for us, avid zombie watchers and film critics that are tired of it, you're right. For a lot of people who have never seen anything to do with zombies, they brought in a huge cash grab and brought a lot of people into that genre. And I have to say, not just that, but Andrew Lincoln, I think he's fantastic. I mean, for being a British actor to play, and I know you're probably gonna hate me saying this, but a Southern dude like that, Cam, I think he's awesome. Not to mention it got
I think
Norman
you're getting
Reedus,
off on the Punisher.
Not to mention Norman Reedus.
Yeah, but he was already awesome, dude.
He wasn't already awesome. Walking Dead. I mean, he was in.
Blade 2. He was a Boondock
Saints, and that was it. And Boondock Saints, as it's aged, is a trashy film now.
Dude. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one. No matter how old I get.
I agree
care how
with Rob.
politically incorrect
It's
it is.
not
I
good.
love that movie.
It's trash
It is
now.
so
It
much
is trash.
fun.
It's for high schoolers.
It is. It's for
No,
high
school. It made me
I was
definitely
in
by
college
you.
when I saw that movie.
If
damn
you
it.
take away that religious aspect of them, they are
It's-
just serial killers. That's
Yeah.
all they are.
I liked it for the.
Let me have my glorified
That's why we
serial
love
killers,
them.
okay?
I liked it. It was my natural born killers. All that fucking movie. I like the reality TV deal where they're like, see,
I get it. But all I'm trying to say is I think Walking
The
Dead
sequel
can
sucks. I'll
actually
give you
have
that.
some. Yeah,
Oh.
it's
Yeah.
okay. I
Is it
think
I passed
there-
that, Rob. Do you like it? I passed season 1.
No, there's just some seasons that I like. I think Walking Dead is kind of like in the way Terminator. There's some parts that are good. Some aspects of some of the sequels are good. Not all of it, but some of it.
It's
Like,
better than
there's-
Jenna Sucks, which stars your damn governor. Damn you! So I'm
Right,
gonna
yeah, no,
blame
see,
the
that one I
governor
don't like.
for
But, like,
wrecking Jenna Sucks.
I like the prison saga. I thought that was good. I thought the acting was really good and on par. That's what I would say Walking Dead has to it. What
the
I
best
don't
prison
think
saga was Prison Break.
what I don't really care for though is I don't like how they try to cash grab off like Walking Dead.
Cash
that
grab?
second
What's
show.
that?
You know where they had the one on the boat, whatever the Fear of the Walking Dead. I don't like how they try to do. Remember when they tried to do the whole show in black and white?
Oh,
It was
God.
just
Right.
it was just the whole damn show originally, season 1 and 2, but in black and white.
That's
Oh,
my
man.
problem, Rob. Right there is when they got big and they felt like let's dial it back and get people interested in zombies because they were single-handedly burning people out with it.
Oh.
He started doing stuff like that.
I knew people
that
who would
just
hate
drive
watch it.
people away.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I used to hate watch it. I stopped watching it probably after season 5,
Oh.
and I'm done with it after that. I actually don't
If
need to go
you
back. I
wa-
actually went back on it a few times here when people were like, "Oh, it's getting good again," and I seen some stuff, and I was like, "Meh."
If you want quality gore on network TV, watch Criminal Minds.
That's a good show.
See,
On
It is a good
network TV.
like the only part I ever saw after really was when they did the stupid Who's Keegan thing, which I was done. I was done after that. But also when I saw that little kid get eaten when he was holding his mom's hand, that shit was
Oh my God.
that made me laugh.
So I want to know, like, if you had to do like when you saw that people were doing fan edits, like which episodes do you fast forward through and which ones do you just start gut busting laughing?
Oh, that one when the kid gets eaten, I think that's
Okay.
hilarious.
One that doesn't involve a kid death, like one that.
Oh,
I'm gonna get hate for that one. The baseball bat and
Oh
what's
my
his
God.
name?
Well, what's the one where he's just like explaining, "Mom's not coming back." What? It's just like it's Star Wars level acting where you're like, "Did I just see that?" Yes, I did.
remember the one with the 2 little girls where one was like a borderline serial killer and she like murdered
The
her sister?
sisters. The
That was
sisters.
another
God.
fucked up episode. I see that one.
Dude, like
Oh.
One
I
episode I
rewatched that
did
one.
really like about Walking Dead was the one where they kill the cannibal people. Because for me, it was like,
Oh yeah.
hold on, Cam. For me, it was like when they kill the cannibal people, I'm like, as if I was in that situation, I'd be like, the dead are eating the fucking living and you are eating people. What the fuck is wrong with you? Of course I'd kill you. Cam, continue. Yeah.
Oh, I was just doing that to dick around. I wasn't actually.
Okay.
I
because
forget that it's an actual thing.
that shit is the one part that I was like I said, I've come in and out of Walking Dead, and I just hope Last of Us doesn't turn out like that.
Out. Okay.
No, I think it's way too more. It's way serious. I again like going
And it
back on my
actually ended. So let's see how many seasons.
Yeah, like they.
Yeah, it
16
finally
seasons.
ended.
Yeah, so
How many
I don't think they're
seasons?
gonna do anything.
Has it?
They're-
And well, there's already like 2 other spin-offs. Like
Yeah, I would say there's more spin-offs already.
one spin-off got like the
It's
third.
like for kids, isn't it?
No, like there was like a third spin-off and like it got canceled like the same year it came out, and then they already announced the 4th one that same year.
I'll
Seven-
say
Holy.
about in general, HBO shows are good at maintaining a sense of consistency throughout the whole season. They really do. That's why people were getting worried with
And
this.
by having hardcore porn.
In the last season of Game of Thrones, people
True
were getting
Blood.
worried because the writing was going to be on the wall.
I'll do you one better, Oz.
But no, the first season the first episode has started off strong. I suspect that level of quality will stick around for the whole season of Last of Us.
I hope so.
And again, for people who know the video game, it has the ending gets
So like Halo, they're
The
involving people who
ending
have
gets
worked on them.
interesting. That's all I'll say. If they stick to this ending, it will be one of those endings that people will be polarized on because it's specifically polarized. It is a very specific choice to divide audiences.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
I just hope it's nothing like the Sands of Time because I've played that video game.
Oh
But
god.
cannot stay away for that movie. I fall asleep. It's boring. I cannot get into it.
Right. They thought, hey, let's make it Pirates of the Caribbean in the desert. No, let's not.
Yeah, I think the writer Neil Druckmann, I think he kind of does that. That's his writing style. He likes to have a diverse audience and make them like kind of hate his product in a way and love his product. And I think he's going to do that. There's going to be a lot of challenging what people like, and not just go with the stereotypical Joel's this anti-hero. He has a dark past, and you're going to like him because of that. I think he's going to go a little deeper than just.
It's kind of
what's
more like the
going on.
Mosquito Coast or Apocalypse Now, or Sicario. It's the rare inviting people to visit the dark side of mankind.
Yeah, and like what will
Instead
you
of, like
actually
you say,
I don't
like
think
Walking
it's that
Dead,
dark,
where
like
we
I
wanted
said.
to divide our audience, or Game of Thrones, where can you believe they just did that? It's going to be on the internet the next day.
right.
Clickbait articles. People you didn't know who were on this or who hated doing this. It's like, I don't want to read that shit.
Right. I just want to see a good fucking story. Let's just get to that.
A good
Right.
story with zombies.
Amen.
They're not zombies. They're like plant people.
If
God
you're
damn it.
infected,
Well,
then
yeah.
why is every
Actually,
article I'm looking
the-
up calling them zombies?
The cool thing is that they're different. There's different types of creatures, which I
Yeah.
think
Right?
is variety.
Clickers,
The defense rests.
There's
Juggernauts.
stages. Yeah, there's stages to the disease.
okay,
thing.
now
My
I'm
boy was telling me
What's
all
the
of them. He played
premise?
the game.
Yeah, there's like 4 stages to the initial like
They have
when you have the
armor and
disease.
shit.
Yeah, then like there's for people
They're
who've
like white
seen it.
spikes.
Yeah, like white spikes. It's like the beginning of the episode where he was explaining the fungi in an ant of like
You're
the
a fun
stages
guy,
that
I hear.
goes-
You're
Yeah.
a fun guy.
I'm not even on any shrooms.
I know a lot of shrooms in post-apocalyptic world, dude. Right?
Hey,
Just
you might as
throwing
well, man.
shrooms.
It
Is
allows you
this
to sleep
like
better.
a Dare? Now that I'm thinking about it, is this like funded by Dare's whole thing? Like, don't
Can
get on
we-
the drugs, you
I
become
wish
a
these-
zombie in
these
the
creatures
future.
were made by
Talk
made of
about-
weed.
Can we talk about the premise itself? Because it is like sobering. It is a
Sure.
sobering like
Yeah.
about how these things could work, because obviously there is and they describe it in this sort of like very somber, very very straightforward, but very interesting interview in the 60s
Hold
about
up.
Yeah.
So what's the court case?
the what?
What's the court
No,
case?
Not a
What
court
was-
case. The case of the of how we get there. So it's like this already happens. There are mushrooms that can.
The
there are
show
food
is when they get there. Case dismissed.
Yeah.
Alright.
It's called Orphicordypus.
You could get into
It's terrific. Say that word.
It gets into
Zombie
their
ant
head.
fungus.
It alters their brain chemistry,
Yeah.
making them basically completely unhinged. And basically,
Mhm.
their only goal is to spread the fungus as much as they can. Completely destroys, takes over their bodily functions, everything, until eventually the host dies, and all that's left is all that left is a fungi.
Yeah.
Now, these things.
So in other words, you're saying eat steak and meat and not veggies.
and
Eat
not-
shit and die. And
No,
stay.
because it only these fungi these are real things that are happening
Yeah,
right
these are real.
now. They affect ants.
Is
However,
it for real?
these so it's a real thing. These fungi, however, can't live in our bodies because they can't survive higher than 94 degrees. So basically, these fungi have
Bodies
no
burn
reason,
it
and
up.
these fungi can't exist in humans, and right now they can't. Right now, they have no reason to evolve to survive warmer temperatures. But what if the fungi had to evolve to survive
warmer climates?
temperatures?
But here, with that being
Right.
said, the old lady that was in the show that turned whatever first, second, whatever. Okay, that's kind of cute.
Seriously.
Okay, so here's my thing: when someone is slowly declining and passing, their body temperatures will decline. Maybe that's how it spreads. It goes after our old people first.
Goes after the old people. Yeah, that's
Oh, you're sounding like a Trumper there.
Yeah.
The old person
Let's
die.
get
I'm
rid of
just-
the
I'm
old people
kidding.
first.
Hey,
Yeah,
I work in a
remember, like, in
nursing
Fido,
home.
they had all the
I
old
know,
people. the
I'm a
persons.
security guard. I deal with the Stans and Karens of the world. Trust me.
No,
Why
listen,
are you shining a light in my
Yeah, yeah,
face?
yeah. But no,
I work in a nursing home, and if this
work
happens,
security cam?
I love my residents, but I am out that door.
absolutely. But
I
yeah,
bet.
ultimately,
I'm done.
the
Done.
premise of the
Done.
show and
Apples of
basically
the world. Done.
yeah, basically the premise of the show says, what if global warming made these very real
Fungus
fungi,
evolve.
It's
these
not
very
real,
fun,
damn it. No. just-
living humans? That's
Alex Jones has different word. No. Okay.
super. It's a scary thought. Obviously, it's like that couldn't happen, but then you're like, could it?
Could it?
It,
Yeah.
it will in 30 years. I live in the shithole
Because I
in
mean, like
Dallas.
we
with the
we
power
didn't
grid and
think-
all, so yeah.
Yeah, we didn't
It's gonna
think the
happen.
influenza virus could evolve to a point where it loses all natural immunities and spreads to the entire.
And this is what people like because we're already dealing with this I mean, before COVID, we had mono and, SARS.
Actually, that was
Hold on there for
honestly
a second.
Right.
That's why.
Bird flu.
That's why a zombie
that was one of my
virus would kill the fuck out of us. Is because
Right.
look how we handled COVID.
exactly. That
Yeah.
was actually some of my favorite moments in the early on, like in the beginning of the scene when Joel's daughter's going to school and there are these like tiny little things, like people coughing, and there's like
Yes.
small little.
Yes.
It's just ticking up the anxiety that I felt very early on in 2020. They're like, fuck, it's just I can't be here right now. It's just like
it's
no.
very much that. I love that bill where there's just subtle little things of like what you kind of write off as just like, oh, that's not going to harm me, but it's
And then-
potentially
And then the old
what is
lady
your
So it could be
downfall.
foreshadowing to it.
It's out of focus. It's out of focus. Like she's twitching and like
she's
her-
twitching. But
doing
why would you do
bloodshot.
that? That's what kind of like people would do. You
Twitcher.
wouldn't be looking back and be like, oh my god, what is that old lady doing in her chair? It's probably
So now they need to have a Twitch channel where they just
Well,
Twitch.
a Twitch
Yeah, see,
channel.
I seen that and I was like, that lady's about to die.
Uh-huh.
Yep, I've seen that.
She
on
did as fuck.
Yeah, well, not only that, she's taking some people with her.
yeah,
Right.
right.
That's
Which
how
is
I'm gonna
which
go
is
in a
kind of-
nursing home. If I go to a nursing home, I'm taking people out with me.
Did
You are
anybody else
affected
like
with
kind of
fungi
chuckle at that, by
bacteria.
the way, when the old
Exactly.
lady is doing what she was doing to her family and she couldn't bite down because her gums, like she only had her gums, her teeth were
She
out.
didn't eat gum. She had the Avatar tail thing coming out of her fucking
oh,
mouth.
right.
dude.
I was gonna say, was it like the tail? Was
Yeah.
that kind of like it was?
was
Because when I
connected to the-
seen that, it reminded me of Blade. I think it was Trinity when the dog's mouth split open and the little
Oh, you're
sucker
thinking,
thing-
wow, that's a good
Oh
point. Yeah,
my
Oh
Blade
yeah,
two.
Blade
God.
2.
Two.
No, that's Blade 3. We talked
No,
about
Blade,
Blade 1
Blade
and-
2. Blade 2.
Blade
they do
2
the
had
whole
Blade
the
2.
zombies.
mandible
Yeah,
thing.
they-
Right, but Blade 3 did the dog thing.
Yeah. No, I was talking about the mandible thing where they split
Yeah,
their
like
mouth.
where they
The
split.
Predator.
But that little
Yeah, they did
thing,
the
the,
Predator.
tentacle thing, is what reminded me of it. And I was just
They
waiting for
destroyed
Blade to
vampires
come
for
over.
a while.
Oh, well, you got to have the music playing first.
All right, everybody.
I'm
So
sorry.
this has
I'm the worst.
been one epic episode
Hold
of
up.
the Real Sharks podcast.
Let's close this out.
Right.
This has been your host, Rob, with Cam,
Mm-hmm. I exist. Glad to have you.
Donna, and Steve.
Oh.
I'll put that music on for the ending right here.
Okay,
Right.
perfect.
I'll put that episode right here.
Hey,